super exciting to be back here in Vegas. Last year was my first time, and it was just mind-blowingly awesome, and you are so many more people here. It was fantastic to see, you know, more than half of the audience almost weren't here last year, and this is just turning huge. It's as big as FanFest now, pretty much. And so that's why we have a good, proper show about EVE Online today for you. So we have lots of exciting stuff coming up. And today we're going to talk about features that are coming to EVE in the coming months. We're going to talk about some projects that are outside the game. And we're going to talk about our next expansion to EVE Online. So we put up a lot of this information about what's coming to EVE in the future on our EVE Updates website about 3 weeks ago. And I'm going to give you even more news today about the changes that are coming to EVE. But before we dive into that, let me just make a few comments about transneural skill packets. Yep. So last week, we posted a blog about a feature that we're exploring that lets people trade skill points with each other in EVE. And I'm a big believer in this feature. I think it's really important for the future of EVE Online. But it's a big change to foundational systems in EVE, and we don't take that lightly. So we are really listening to all of your feedback right now. We're reading blogs, commentary, forum posts. We have a roundtable here at EVE Vegas, so please keep your feedback coming. There are a lot of details to get right here. And as soon as we know what our next steps are, you'll see a proper dev blog about it. All right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the roadmap. All right, so I want to call out a few things on the roadmap that we published that are really about your overall experience with EVE Online rather than being features of the game itself. So first, we're investing in whole new server hardware for EVE Online. We're operating like the weirdest and most awesome super gaming cluster in the world. And it needs a new home, so we're moving into a new, more modern data center and just doing a full-on upgrade of all the hardware. And this means EVE will be battle-ready for years to come. Fuck yeah! And another project to make sure your experience with EVE is better is our new launcher. It's in beta testing right now, but I'm really proud of it. EVE deserves a launcher that really supports the needs you have for managing multiple accounts and multiple settings profiles, being able to save the accounts you logged into, and also keeping the game up to date in a really unobtrusive way. And that's what we're trying to do with this new launcher. And we just released an update to it that migrates your settings over from your current EVE install, so it's a really good time now to check it out. And we expect to have this fully launched by the end of this year. And the developers who are working on it, they're really out there on the forums, taking your input and feature requests, so please get in touch with them about what you would like to see with the launcher. All right. And then we have another big investment in the future of EVE, which is the Brain-in-a-Box project. It's based on a complete rewrite of the attribute system in EVE. And this is a system that keeps track of what effects all the skills and ships and weapons and rigs and so on should have. And this is really our next big optimization step after time dilation. And we've been working on this for more than a year. It's a really elaborate and extensive change. And this is going out next week. So respect that this, yep. We're doing it. It's like open heart surgery on EVE a little bit. You can almost say this system is EVE. So we'll see performance improvements with this, especially to jumps, but also it opens up for us to do new and fun things with ships and modules in the future. And these changes are really about making sure that the overall experience you have with EVE is great, and it's all part of our preparations for a really strong future for EVE. And then, all right. So on Tuesday, we released the next set of follow-up changes to the new SAV system. soft structure changes, and a reduction of jump fatigue. And we will continue to release changes like this almost every month to Eve. And I have a couple of updates later about a bunch of them that are coming to you this winter. But now we are also bringing back expansions. You can applaud more later, I promise you. This means that we put big changes that belong together in one big expansion that really makes a statement about what kind of game EVE Online is. There'll be a trailer, we'll make some good noise in the world about it. And all of that starts in spring 2016 with EVE Online Citadel. So what kind of game is EVE Online? It's a game where you will be able to build enormous space cities and fight over them in capital-class ships. We are bringing you the biggest addition to SandBox gameplay in EVE since the original Starbases. It's new superstructures that have empires and capsuleers racing to upgrade the capital fleets of New Eden. Citadels will transform the economy and landscape of EVE Online. And today, we're here to give you a full rundown and development preview of what's in it. And to give you as much detail as possible, and starting with all the latest information about the Citadels themselves, I have some help from one of our great developers. So to tell us all about the Citadels themselves, please welcome to the stage CCP Nullable.
Hello, Vegas. Are we on? Hello, Vegas. So, at FanFest earlier this year, we unveiled the first details of our really ambitious and bold new project, and that's a complete reimagining of player-built structures. Developing new visuals and new gameplay completely from the ground up, really expanding the possibilities for you guys to invest in space. In the 2016 spring expansion, we'll be releasing the first class of these new structures called Citadels. Now, they're the most powerful and the most expensive class, and they're designed to bring the best bonuses for housing, trading, and defense. We'll talk to you in spring. So not only are we shipping all 3 sizes of the Citadel hull, but you're also getting punishing new weapon systems and electronic warfare. We're giving you rigs to upgrade their bonuses, and we're giving you service modules for installing player markets, clone services, reprocessing, and compression. So here's the medium size, and let me tell you, there's nothing medium about this guy. Spanning 50 kilometers across, with a targeting range out to 250 kilometers. This entry-level Citadel is more than capable of asserting itself over a significant area of space. And deploying them is super easy. You just drop them or right-click them from your cargo, and then you can just drag them around in space. Position them wherever you like. And for the first time, you can actually rotate them to point the undocks in the right direction. So they're no longer restricted to being anchored at moons and planets, provided you stay a safe distance from other structures and celestials. You can put as many of these as you like, wherever you like. And straight out of the box, you're getting unlimited personal hangars, which you can dock all sub-capital size ships in these, and a corporation office for the owner. So these have 4 high slots for weaponry, 4 mids for electronic warfare, and 3 lows for fitting and damage upgrades. And these are fitted exactly the same way as ships. The medium will also have 5 new fitting slots, and these are for installing the services, such as the player market or reprocessing. And all structures will give you access to a fitting service for ships when you're docked. And the built-in tethering, which we've previously called mooring, is now tethering. This is automatically going to secure friendly ships as they approach, and they're going to provide safe passage just as you come and go from the structure. So these mediums really they're like an affordable yet really powerful staging platform, and we expect to see these deployed in the thousands across New Eden. So, stepping up a size now, we have the large. And this enormous structure is 100 kilometers in length, and it features a prominent capital undocking bay. And you might notice we have multiple undocking points for both subcaps and capital ships to get a separate area to help with congestion. The larger size comes with more fitting capacity, so we're increasing this to 6 highs, 5 mids, and 4 lows, allowing you to squeeze additional defenses from the weaponry and e-war modules. You can also fit 7 service modules on these to expand the functionality that you can provide your allies. And it has 3 times the effective hit points of the medium, giving you a larger buffer against attacks. Are you ready for the next one? The granddaddy of them all. This is over This is over 150 kilometers wide, and it is staggeringly tall. And if you have a close look, you can see a small little avatar Titan in the top for reference. And yes, that's currently undocking from this station. As you will be able to do with all capitals and all super capitals, will be able to dock in these stations. This is by far the largest and most powerful player-built structure in New Eden. The targeting range of this thing alone covers 700 kilometers in diameter. And it can dish out some serious punishment in that area. So with the maximum 8 highs, 6 mids, and 5 lows, you've really got the flexibility to design a fit to best complement your fleet. And it's also going to be able to fit the new structured Doomsday weapon. And this weapon is capable of bouncing multiple times to hit several targets at once. It has a further 6 times the hit points of the large Citadel and 18 times that of the medium. And this structure is going to be the home and the battleground for the most, the largest and the most organized groups in EVE. Are they cool? So what exactly can you put in all of these fitting slots? So for the high slots, we're shipping 3 different types of launchers. We're giving you a short-range flak gun, and this is for shooting smaller ships. We're giving you a more powerful and longer-range anti-ship missile launcher for larger targets. And we're also bringing back AoE torpedo launchers to help disperse fleets. You'll also be able to get small and large energy newts. And we're doing some more interesting modules as well, such as a ship tractor beam and remote repair modules. Mid slots are primarily electronic warfare, and they're your usual candidates, ECM, sensor dampeners, warp disruptors, etc. And for the low slots, we're going to be giving you weapon upgrades, drone enhancers, power and CPU modifiers, and we plan on expanding the offering of fittable modules over time, the same way as we do for ships. All structures have 3 rig slots as well. And these are going to allow you to upgrade the services and the defenses installed on the structure. For example, increase in the energy newt range, missile velocity, or maximum lock targets. And they're also the replacement for outpost upgrades. So you'll be able to provide bonuses for things like the number of corporation offices you can rent out, improving reprocessing efficiency, or reducing market transaction taxes. And we plan on releasing more of these over time as well, as we roll out the other classes and especially the other service modules that will get installed, like manufacturing and reactions. So now, the millionist question. How much will they cost? So, based on the current market value of all the inputs required to build them today, the medium Citadel is going to be around 600 million ISK. The large Citadel is going to be 7 billion ISK. And you're all sitting down, right? The extra large, 70 billion ISK for the hull. We're going to have a developer blog about all of this this week, so you'll be able to give some feedback on this too. For the modules that you fit, they're averaging around 5 to 100 million ISK, except for the Doomsday module, which is a fraction over $1 billion. And the rigs are the most expensive component after the hull, and they're ranging from 7 to 70 million ISK for the medium sizes, 90 to 1.1 billion for the large rigs, and for the extra large rigs, you're looking at 1 to 23 billion per upgrade. And all of these prices, they cover T1 and T2 variations. So you need to start running some missions. So this is New Eden, and everything that can be built must also be destroyed. So with these new structures, they are mostly safe from attack, but they will have a period of time each week where they must recalibrate and refuel their defenses. And during that time, they can be damaged with standard weaponry. That means guns on ships. And the specific time which this is done is configured by the owner, so you can ensure you have the best chance of having people online to defend it. For the medium, you're looking at 3 hours a week. The large is 6, and the extra large is 21 hours of vulnerability a week. And they have a new kind of active shielding, which mitigates damage past a fixed DPS threshold. So it no longer matters if you bring 10 dreadnoughts or 100 dreadnoughts. You will be committed to the field as an attacker for at least 30 minutes. And this new model of structure combat, paired with the new and improved capital ships, we think is really going to completely change static warfare in EVE. You know, borrowing from some of the design goals that we had with the Entosis system, and pairing it with the raw, visceral experience of firing missiles and lasers, you know, we're really hoping to see quite the fireworks show across the cluster. Now, if you're unfortunate enough for this to happen, that's a new explosion effect, by the way. Then an acid ejection system is going to kick in, and this is going to give you the option to recover your personal and corporation hangars into another structure in the system or to the nearest NPC station for a feeder interbus. Wormholes are the exception here. Everything in wormholes is destroyed and dropped as loot. And for those performing the disassembly, you will get loot in the form of the structure modules, salvage, and you're getting quite a lot of that. And then any portion of the materials being consumed by industrial processes running in the structure at the time. You'll also get a nice kill report for your efforts. We're building an all-new user interface for discovering and managing these structures too. So jumping into a system will reveal all of the anchored structures on the overlay for you to warp to. You can also browse them and search through them, all the places that you have docking rights through a new browser. We're going to include NPC stations in this list as well, and it's going to detail the services that are available and who's operating the structure. For the owner, configuring access hasn't been more easier and more powerful. A new groups system is going to allow you to build lists of alliances, corps, and characters, and specify exactly who can dock and access the services at your structure. And then these groups can be shared around between players, really allowing you to have complete customization without the use of standings or being limited to only giving access within your corp or your alliance. And so for most of the services that you can install, there's going to be an option to tax their usage as well. Things like the market transactions or reprocessing or clone services. And combined with the flexible groups, you can set up some pretty complex business relationships between other players in the game, such as like opening up your structure to be used to the public for a fee, and then giving a special discount for your friends. And this means we're going to see things like high-sec market free ports with low transaction taxes to compete with the NPC stations. We're going to see private alliance trade hubs in wormhole space. And we're going to see low-sec industrial coalitions and all this kind of stuff. So this is going to really give you the tools, the flexibility to describe the relationship that you want to have with other people. So the entire team is really excited to be working on this project. It has huge implications across all areas of space, and we can't wait to see what happens when we put them in your hands early next year. However, Citadels is only half of this story. So to tell you a little bit more about what else we have planned, I'm going to hand you over to CCP Larrikin. Have a great Vegas, everyone.
Hello. So the new Citadels expansion is going to give you brand new ways of building sandcastles in the sandbox that is New Eden. We thought it might be cool if we gave you new toys to kick those sandcastles over. To start with, we're completely re-imaging how capitals work, their purpose, and how you progress. All capitals, including dreadnoughts, will get fleet hangars, ship hangars, and provide refitting services to every member of their fleet and corporation. All super capitals, that's supercarriers and titans, will all get a range of unique abilities, which we'll go into soon. Dreads are going to be the in-your-face gun platform able to dish out massive amounts of damage, and titans will back that hail of gunfire up with a whole bunch of interesting effects that, again, we'll get into soon. Meanwhile, carriers will project their fighter squadrons across the battlefield, and the supercarriers will support them with long-range electronic warfare abilities. And finally, we're moving the logistics role to a brand new set of capitals. We're calling these Force Auxiliaries. A whole bunch of spies died to get us this footage from... This is the Galanti Force Auxiliary being built in Federation space right now. These capitals take over the remote repair and triage role of all of the current carriers and supercarriers. This is the Mimitar version of the Force Auxiliary. These are going to have fairly limited combat capabilities. More rust. Yeah, it's only brand new, guys. They don't get built with rust. They're going to have limited combat capabilities, but when they transform it into triage, they become the logistics backbone of any capital fleet. We're also going to add a whole bunch of brand new capital modules, starting with capital armor plates, capital shield extenders, propulsion modules, newts and nosses, cap boosters, chargers, and batteries. And we figured all the existing capital modules should have meta, Tech 2, and faction variations. So yeah, there will be Tech 2 extra large guns, and ammunition, and skills. While we're at it, we decided to add a brand new extra large type of turret, which we're tentatively calling high angle weapon batteries. They're specifically designed to shoot at subcapitals. They have high tracking, a really high rate of fire, which you can see up here, and a short range. They're going to be balanced separately to existing extra large weaponry. We're also going to rebalance the existing extra large weaponry, so they're not going to be very effective against subcapitals, but instead are used for kicking over sandcastles and other capitals. However, not me, actually. Capital pilots aren't going to be holding all the aces after this expansion. We're going to be making some changes. To start with, no capital is going to be completely immune to electronic warfare. If brave newbie turn up in 50 rifters, they can tackle your Titan. Capital remote repairs, we're changing their effectiveness so they're only effective when you're in triage. This is going to eliminate large groups of remote repair carriers or slow cats. And that's your job. And lastly, while you have a weapons timer, you're not going to be able to refit. We know this is a drastic change, guys. It's going to change capital combat as you see it, and subcapital combat in some cases. We're giving capitals weapons and abilities that can affect subcapitals, but they're going to be more vulnerable to subcapitals as well. The decision you guys make when you fit your capitals is going to be really important. We're also radically changing fighter and carrier gameplay. We're getting rid of existing fighters and instead introducing squadrons, which is like a group of fighters that fly together as a single entity. Each carrier will be able to launch between 3 and 5 squadrons, and these squadrons will have different types. They don't have traditional shield, armor, and hull, and instead the hit points of a fighter squadron is measured by how many fighters are left alive. You can't repair something that's dead. They're also going to have a whole range of brand new abilities, and some examples are torpedo barrages designed to do massive amounts of damage to carriers and other capitals and structures, micro jump drives that'll let you get these fighter squadrons around the battlefield rapidly, evasive maneuvers, which is a short invulnerability buff, and missile swarms, which you can launch at other fighter squadrons to take them out before they get to your vulnerable carrier. While we're at it, we thought we should develop some new UI to control these. So yeah, you can send your fighter squadrons to any point in space. And it's going to be important that carrier pilots master positional gameplay and the ability to multitask 5 different fighter squadrons and their carrier all at the same time. To help you out with this, we're going to do a little bit of a revamp on the camera. So we're going to let you detach the camera from your ship or any ship. Thought this would be pretty important to fighter gameplay when the action of your fighters might be hundreds of kilometers away from your carrier. But don't worry, we haven't forgotten about the Titan pilots in the room. While we were working on all this amazing new user interface, we had a think and we thought, what can we do that would be, super cool with this? What if we had some sort of laser that you could shoot through space and cut things? So we're introducing the Seagull class Doomsday. This is a powerful new beam that slashes through space and can decimate enemy fleets who aren't fast enough to get out of the way. Would you like to see it again? Good, because it's on repeat. So that's the new targeting UI that we're talking about. This is a work in progress. This isn't the final graphics. I want to make that really clear. In fact, that's just the Avatar Doomsday effect that we stole and did some stuff with. But it should give you a pretty good idea on how it's going to work. While we're at it, we thought it would be pretty cool if you could like pick up a bunch of ships and just throw them away. So we made a Doomsday we're calling the Hand of God, and Titans, using their bridging technology, can teleport a group of subcapitals against their will to a random spot in the same solar system. This isn't powerful enough to teleport capitals, but it will disrupt the capital's warp drives and jump drives, so it's not a great way to get your friends out of trouble. You're effectively tackling them. Supercarriers are also going to have a selection of long-range area of effect electronic warfare effects. They're going to act as long-range artillery. While they're controlling their fighter squadrons, potentially far away or close if they've made a little bit of a mistake, they can use these effects to debuff preoccupied enemy fleets and support those fighter squadrons. Most importantly, all of these super weapons have counter gameplay. We want to make sure that you as a pilot have the skill to avoid or minimize the effectiveness through your piloting. We have much, much more planned, and you should totally come and see the Capital session tomorrow just after lunch. But let me hand it back to CCP Seagull.
All right, wow. Thank you so much, CCP Larkin and CCP Nullable. I really recommend you go to the full presentations about the capitals and structures. There are even more details there. We really want to give you all of the information that we have about these things so you can start, I don't know, preparing for how to murder your friend's Citadel. And EVE Online Citadel is really the next big puzzle piece, taking us towards our vision for an EVE Online where capsuleers have more and more power in the sandbox, and eventually even break out of the known universe. You'll be able to follow the active development all throughout winter. You'll be able to get on a test server and play with these things as soon as we have them ready for testing for you. And we will announce an exact release date sometime early next year. So that's EVE Online Citadel coming to you spring 2016. Look at that! How many are you going to build? All of them, all over New Eden. All right, so before I move on to tell you about more features coming to EVE this winter, I want to take a little break and talk about some EVE projects that are happening outside the game. And to tell us about some of those, I want to welcome to the stage EVE Universe Creative Director, CCP Torby Frans.
Wow. That's a tough act to follow. This is pretty amazing. I've been working on EVE for 15 years. I started working in '99 in a lot of different roles and seen it go through a lot of stuff. And I just have to say that this stuff that was just presented by them, by CCP Seagull's team, is fucking amazing. Because it's kind of going back to the roots, I mean, the core design philosophy, because we've kind of veered back and forth, but it's kind of the core design philosophy of like player-driven, emergent gameplay, totally unknown outcomes, both for you and for the development team, I think, at a massive scale. like a ridiculous scale. You don't get that anywhere else. It's, let's give them a good hand. I think it's truly amazing. I'm really excited to see Eve at this place today. Bold, big, and beautiful. Anyway, books. I want to talk to you about books. I wanted to talk to you about a lot of different things, but they asked me just to talk about books, so I'm just going to talk about books. There is a very powerful book out there, and not many people have seen it. But those that have seen it, it kind of changes their outlook on life, or at least on their outlook on life in EVE Online. And that's The Empires of Eve, written by Andrew Groen. So for those of you who don't know it, Andrew Groen, he reached out to us like 2 years ago, and he wanted to write a history book. So Andy is an award-winning game journalist and writer. He used to write for Wired.com and Penny Arcade. And he wanted to chronicle the history of the great empires of EVE Online. Not the expansions, not the features, not my history, but your history. And not that and the stuff that makes up kind of the oral history of EVE, the stuff that you tell each other late at night while mining. So the kind of player conflicts, their origins, and the effects. And Andy is actually the perfect person to write these books because he knows and loves games, and he knows game communities, and he knows EVE, but still kind of from an outsider's perspective. So he was able to kind of, I don't know, get a better holistic view of what it was. And this is a picture of the book that I stole from his Twitter, because it's not in our hands yet. But actually, he sent a PDF to us at CCP, and a few of us have read it. And it was pretty remarkable, because it made us see EVE in a whole new way. He put it on Kickstarter. This is the Kickstarter picture, because it quickly became something much bigger than anyone expected. He got over like 700% more money than he asked for. So demand was really, really strong. And since it was so successful, he was able to recruit artists to illustrate it with pictures. He got Daniel Warren Johnson, who worked on the Dark Horse comic, the EVE Dark Horse comic. He got Devon Scott Tunkin to do maps and illustrations from Peter Shelf and Rick Javix. And it's a beautiful, beautiful book, but it's also like a human narrative, because it kind of helps us explain the motives behind the conflicts that shaped EVE. So we meet the people behind who governed our universe. And again, for someone who's been around for a while, it was really profound to get this like bird's eye view and perspective on conflicts and characters that were a bit kind of too big to observe when you were in the midst of them, the conflicts, not the people. And reading through it is kind of like reading through these like medieval history books, or these like insightful books about the history of World War II, but it's in space, and it has funnily named alliances. It's really, really cool. So Andy, unfortunately, we wanted to bring him up here and talk about the book, but he's actually in an airplane right now, and he's flying into Vegas later tonight, so he's going to have a presentation tomorrow, and I totally recommend that you check it out. He's been giving this talk at different venues, and it was in Chicago, it was in Amsterdam. I saw him in New York recently, where he was talking at NYU's Game Lab, and he totally killed it, like with a big, it was a big crowd at the room, and because he's kind of, just to hype him up more, I'm just being honest with you, this is a guy that can tell our stories. This is a guy that kind of gets it, so I recommend this book. And, but more, there's more. What about the books that make you cry? What about the dramatic books? So there was like a journalistic approach to telling the stories of EVE. What about kind of just regular books set in the EVE universe? So what about fiction? It's been a while actually since we did a fiction book, and we're not even sure if we should do. Are we the best ones to publish books? Are we the ones to write novels? We're pretty good at making a particular type of computer game, but I don't know. And we were thinking about that, and we were approached by a group of EVE players and an established military sci-fi writer that were seeking to license to develop and publish a book that they're going to develop and publish set in the EVE universe based on their experiences. And we thought about this for a long time, actually. Should we allow a third party to do an EVE book? Can we trust them? Can they do all the publishing and the logistics part of it? And most importantly, can they tell a story from EVE? And what will it be? Will it be canon, or is it like extended universe? And we talked about it at length. And it was actually after reading Andy's book that I felt that we had to do this book as well. And the writer's name is Jeff Edwards. And his... got a few fans in the audience. He's a retired U.S. Navy Chief Petty Officer. He was an anti-submarine warfare specialist, and he served aboard some cutting-edge warships using sonars to hunt nuclear submarines, which in English for you means he was de-scanning for campers at safe spots. Which is kind of as close as you can get to working on a militarized spaceship without actually going into space. So after he retired from the service, he has published several books, and he sold over 250,000 books worldwide. And we've read his books, and there's some sample material that he wrote set in EVE, and we think it really clicked. So Jeff, he's partnered up with the Metani Media, and he intends to write a book about the Fountain War, based on actual events that occurred in one of the biggest battles in online gaming history by all standards. And the book is going to be on Kickstarter shortly. But we're lucky enough to have Jeff here in the audience. Now I want to invite him up on the stage to tell us a little bit about himself and the project. Thank you.
How you doing, Vegas? First of all, if you have never seen your head that large, it is a bit intimidating. I always knew I had a big head, but that's just freaking scary. There was another picture that they could have used. Some of you have probably seen it on the backs of my novels. It's the one where I'm wearing the foul weather jacket, and I've got my aviators on, and I'm doing my steely-eyed warrior look there. My agent used to call that my steely-eyed warrior look, and I love that saying. Somebody the other day on the internet said that was my Tom Clancy wannabe look. Just for the record, I don't want to be Tom Clancy. He's been dead a few years, and that's not where I see myself in 5 years. So I have other plans, just so you know. Okay, let's talk about a few things. The first thing is, some of you know me, some of you don't have a clue who I am. That's okay, because I know you. I don't know you all, not individually, at least not yet, but collectively, I know you guys. You guys are the guys who build the spaceships. You guys are the guys who forge the alliances. You guys are the guys who fight the battles. Or being an old Navy chief, you guys are the guys who make shit, blow shit up, and make shit happen. That's the stuff that I love. That's the stuff that hits me right here, and that's why I'm standing in this room. That's why you're here. Let's talk a little bit about why I'm here. I am not standing on this stage because I'm the greatest EVE player on the planet. Whenever I see this symbol, I am in my pod hauling ass towards the nearest safe station. Every single time I've gone PvP, I have gotten my ass kicked. I am a serious noob in this game. But with that, so that's not why I'm here. I'm here because I write science fiction. I'm here because I write military fiction. I'm here because I'm a tactical warfare specialist, but most of all, I'm here because everything that this game is about and this community is about is right in the middle of my sweet spot. This is the convergence of everything I love and everything I do well. It all comes together in EVE, and it just fucking blows me away. So that's the reason that I'm here. As Torfi mentioned, we got permission from CCP was kind enough to give us permission to do some third-party work here. I'm working in conjunction with the Metani Media, and our goal is to write a book about the Fountain War, specifically a novel told from the player's point of views. It's not going to be a history book. It's not going to be a lore book. It's going to be a kick-ass, get your teeth in there, blood veins in your teeth, shit blowing up novel from the perspective of the people who are actually there, and I think it's going to be damned exciting. We're incredibly excited to do it. I think everything you could possibly want in a story was in the Fountain War. We got huge, great, big, massive battles. We have tiny little battles. We have betrayal. We have action. We have intrigue. Everything you could possibly want as an author is there. Our goal is, if we prove ourselves to CCP and to you, our goal is to do many more projects in the future, but we're starting with the Fountain War. That's our starting point. So there's more stuff to come if we get it right, and our goal is to absolutely knock your socks off. So it's thank you. It's your stories we want to tell. You guys are the guys who make the shit happen. We can't do this without you. We need you, and it's your stories that we want to tell. So basically, I came here to stand on the stage today to invite you to do one thing. Come with us and kick some ass. Thank you.
Exciting. Very exciting. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be very dramatic. This is probably going to be me after reading it. All the horror. Anyway, we don't have much time. I want to mention one more thing. The floating Nix. Where's the floating Nix? So the floating Nix that we talked about at FanFest, it was actually previewed at Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con earlier this month. And if everything goes to plan, we're getting one here tomorrow in the mail, and we're going to be showing it at the venue. In worst case, we're going to be showing it at the IP Development Roundtable on Sunday. So here it is at Comic-Con. It looks pretty badass. This is not the final version. It's going to have some LEDs and more paint, but it does float, and it does fly, and it's pretty cool. And yeah, so thank you. And over to Andy.
All right. Thank you so much to Torvi and Jeff. Now let's talk about EVE merchandise. So at FanFest, I said that we were working on how to make this kind of merchandise available to you without going to an event, and that it was something that would happen this year. And, well, here we are, and I have some really good news on this front. So we brought a number of completely new items with us to Vegas this year, and our goals for this is really to equip you with as much EVE stuff as you would like. The focus is on cool and reasonably priced stuff like t-shirts, mugs, glasses, baggage tags, stickers. We have a great partner called DPI, and we're working with a designer who knows EVE culture really well. And we're also working with players, such as in the case of these posters that we're doing with Rick's Javix and our other great partner, Quantum Mechanics. Have you seen the bottle of tears? So whenever we go to events with our merchandise, people tell us this. I can't make it to FanFest or eVegas. Can I please buy this stuff online somewhere? And you will be able to, because a bunch of these things are going to be on ThinkGeek. These guys have a bunch of other nerdy stuff. They have great customer support, and they ship to most of the world. Maybe you Americans don't give a shit about that, but they do. So if you don't get a hold of everything here at Vegas that you would like, we're working hard in the Christmas factory right now to get EVE items onto ThinkGeek in time for the holidays. Yep. I'm really, really happy that we can have a store running again, and I hope that you find something you like. All right, let's get back to a couple of updates of things that are coming to EVE Online already this winter. I have some in-development images and videos to show you for some of these things. And most of this stuff you can expect in our December release, but you'll see proper release dates as we lock them in on the roadmap on EVE Updates. So let's start with the new Tech 2 ice mining frigate. It's called the Endurance, and I think it looks a bit boring in the picture here, so should we take a look at it? And this is just one of the 13 new ships that we're adding to EVE this winter. I'm not going to go through all of them here. We're also working on whole new hit effects. And I have some work in progress video of new shield hit effects. Do you want to see it? All right. Looks pretty good, huh? And so we also have new camera modes coming. So CCP Larrikin already showed you some of this stuff, the new camera features that we're working on in relation to the capitals. But a lot of this stuff is actually coming to EVE already this winter in the form of 2 completely new camera modes. So one is detached from your ship that lets you pan around freely in space and look at stuff that's far away and so on. And another one that gives you first-person view. That's super fun to use with the keyboard controls. And I have some more in-development footage of this stuff. So let's take a look. And what you see here in action as well is the new select method that really changes quite a lot about how you can select things in space. And all of the normal keyboard shortcuts work for this. So if you hold Control and marquee select, you get to target stuff and so on. And you can do look at and so on, all the usual stuff. And so here you see some examples of how you can pan around and look at things and so on. It's quite a dramatic change to how EVE feels, actually. And here you see the first-person mode and a bit of targeting here. All right. I also have some work in progress to show you on the new visualization of directional scans that's coming this winter as well. And here you see you can lock the camera in the space scene to your scan result. So this should make it a bit easier to understand what's going on with directional scan, maybe help those who are teaching noobs how to use it and how it's one of the most important tools in the game. All right. And then, of course, we have the PvP kill marks that are also coming this winter. And we're actually starting to count on Tuesday. So best behavior from Tuesday. And I just have an example here. You've seen some video footage of this, but I have an example here from Minmatar Hall to really explain how these marks work so you know what to look for. So here you have 5 kills, and then you have 42, and 100 there, the upgrade to the new star. And if you are really good at killing people, here's a maxed out counter. All right. So along with all of these shiny graphics and art updates and all the new ships, this winter we're also doing something that's really remarkable. CCP is working with Swiss company MMOS and students from Reykjavik University to bring real crowd science into EVE Online. And we call this Project Discovery. And by playing this image analysis minigame that will give you ISK and Sisters of Eve loyalty points, you'll be helping to improve the data in the Human Protein Atlas. And I'm gonna do my best to try and explain what this is to you. The Human Protein Atlas, it's a publicly available database of microscope images, like these ones here, showing protein distribution in human tissues and cells. It's a little bit similar to the map of the human genome, but for where different proteins show up in the human body. And researchers use this huge database to better understand things like cell biology, gene function, and diseases such as cancer. And we have both MMOS and Dr. Lundberg from the Human Protein Atlas project here at eVegas. And they're giving a full presentation about the project on Sunday. I think it's absolutely amazing that we can bring this kind of stuff into EVE. We might. We have to prove it out first, but who knows? I also want to give a quick mention to the 2 events that we have running right now. So the Crimson Harvest is in full swing. If you've seen Omer out there, I hope you get a hold of some of the stuff he has. If you see these sites across New Eden, take a look. And I hear there's some good fights around them as well. And we also have the Amara Championships running. And this is really a big chance to affect the world history of New Eden and be part of determining who the next leader of the Amara Empire is going to be. I hear some of you here in the audience are a bit involved in that. And fights in this tournament will be streamed live 2 weekends in November. And the finals that determine who the new leader of the Amara Empire is will be on stage in Iceland at FanFest 2016. So I wish all of the contestants the best of luck. All right. So I've just shown you now a few highlights from features where we had new stuff to show you today. So please go to the roadmap and see all the things that are coming to EVE this winter. Like there's more frigates, there's dirt gathering on ships, there's even more visual updates to the universe and to effects. There's the fall-off for newts and reps. Some of you like that, some of you don't. E-War module tier side to go with that. There's going to be more drifter madness going on, and the tribute system, and new Tech 2 destroyers, and even more. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and we will have blogs and more information about all of these coming soon. EVE Online is something really amazing, and we're making it happen together. We populate this science fiction universe, and that's really remarkable. I really hope you liked what you've heard today, and we will have a fucking amazing weekend here in Vegas. On behalf of the entire EVE Online dev team, it's an absolute honor to bring you EVE Online. Thank you, and see you at the pub crawl.